close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us. If love is all we'll ever trust, yeah. No, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go.
Then maybe we should work on this bike. It's kind of done, also kind of not done. Yeah, I think let's work on this bike. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now today is Vlogmas episode number 17. We're getting there. But today is one of those days that I don't really have anything to do that's quite interesting. Well, it's not something that I haven't showed yet. We've changed the tube, we've done this and that today, but it's not major things. So as you guys know, I'm working on my S Works, the Allez, and we're trying to do a budget build. Now I still need to put in the gear cables and then my pedals. Then we can weigh the bike and just see what it weighs in total, and just maybe do the gears and so on. So today we're going to hang out a bit again. I know it's not a super interesting video, but let me show you guys how to put in gear cables into Dura-Ace shifters, mechanical shifters, and we'll take it from there. Alright, so now you've opened your hood, and then when you look on the inside here, there's a small little plastic part right there that you can actually unclip so long. You're going to unclip that, and that'll make it easier for when you, I wish you could look through there, but when you're going to put in your cable on this side, right there, oh the lighting is so bad, you can almost see the small little hole just there. When you put your cable through, it's going to be a lot easier. It will pop out this side. You can work it into your housing, so you can actually see your little piece of housing there. Work it through, take it straight through down to the rear derailleur or front derailleur, whichever shifter you're working on at that moment, and it'll make life super easy. So I'm going to show you guys which side we're going to put it in, and now it comes through on this side. I'll push it through, and then we'll set the gears. Alright, so I'm actually sitting on a chair right now, and because I'm going to try to do this with one hand. Alright, so we're going to push it through, and it will come through on this side, so you guys can see there. So it came through, which is nice and easy. Just remember, when pushing it through, you just get it to that point real quick, that you work this little head of the cable into the lower part right there. You guys can see that it's a bit bigger there. Just make sure that you work it into that side there. Then you know it will be in that small little casing from the shifter that actually shifts the gears. So now it's in there. I'm going to pull it through, and then we're going to work it into our housing just on that side. Alright, so I said you guys must just open this little plastic part there. It's just a small little cover that closes the cable and that little guide that runs through there. You can always just put a little bit of Worth multi-lube on there just to make sure that your cable slides nicely on that, and then you guys can't see that nicely, but I'm trying to focus on it for you guys. Anyway, my housing end is sitting right there, and I'm literally going to take my cable and work it into my housing end, into the little hole there, push it straight through, and just remember when you get to the end, let's just see quickly where it goes through. That's the front one. You just grab it right there, pull it through. Now the one thing you need to remember is when you get to this point, just be careful that you don't bend or pinch the cable. When it's like this and you're going to keep on pulling, you'll bend it here, and that'll have a massive impact and influence on your shifting of the gears. It'll maybe make it a bit slower and it won't work that nice. So when you do this, turn your cable like this. I know it's going to sound funny. Push it as far as you can. If this little gap there is too small that you think you're going to pinch this, just pull the cable quickly. Otherwise, just make sure that it's not twisted like this. Turn it back in, push it through, and then you grab your cable there on the other side and just give it a quick pull, and that's how you're going to install the front derailleur gear cable. Now we can put this little plastic part back there. It literally just clips in there nice and easy underneath the hood there, clips in there, and that's basically just to cover the cable. It says lift to access cable, so that's basically what it does. It just covers your cable there. So that's in. Remember, when pulling your hoods back and pushing them back to the normal position as well, that you do this very carefully. You don't want to leave them like this for too long, but they also tear quite easily, especially if you've done this 2 or 3 times. They do tear, so just make sure that you pull them back carefully, and when you push them back to the normal position, that you do that as well. It's always nice and good advice if you leave this in a bit of sunlight, so it just so the rubber can soften up a little bit. Don't put it underneath the heat or anything, just a little bit of sunlight will be good. Then you know the rubber is nice and I almost want to say stretchable, so you can open and close that real quick. So we're going to move on to the rear derailleur cable housing. I'm going to put it in. I'm not going to show you guys that because I just did that, and then we'll tighten it, and I'll show you guys a few of the things that I've actually made myself for this frame. I'm not super proud of it, but it's something that works because there's no parts for these frames. They discontinued them, if I remember correctly, or they discontinued the way that they make them. The cable guides there at the bottom. So I designed a little something there. I'm going to show you guys just now. But first, let me just put in that cable real quick. What I'm about to show you guys is it's actually horrible the way it looks, but luckily no one's looking on to the bottom of my bike. The problem with this was I was actually so chuffed when I was younger. My dad always said, me and all my little things that I gather so much, if there's a small little part that I could save or put into my little, I had small little buckets everywhere. If I could put something in there, and I always told my dad, no, maybe one day we'll use it. And if I remember, in my old shop I had a lot of these things, and we did use them. Every now and again there was one of those things that we would use, the cable guide to the bottom of the frame. I had a lot of those, and I kept on saving them, and I just always said, no, maybe one day I'll use it. And then when I got to this bike, I knew I would have been able to use one of those ones, but unfortunately with the first shop we sold it, and all those things went with the shop, so I lost all those things, which I'm kind of super sad about. I should have kept it, but I did make a plan for this bike. It's not pretty, guys, it's really not pretty, but it works and it's efficient. Like I said, they don't bring these things in for these specific bikes anymore, so I had to make a plan. So what I did is I took one of these cable guides and I just put a little bit of it's actually brake cable housing. I think it's a bit more robust than the gear cable housing for the purpose that I needed to serve here. You need a very long guide that goes from there all the way up, past that piece of welding there, and then up into the frame, so that you can actually tie the cable up to your front derailleur. Now, I couldn't get anything that's that long. I mean, we needed something that had a super long guide, and I just couldn't get one. So I decided to make one. So there's a little nugget on my bike. It's not the prettiest thing, but it works. And if you guys have something that you've made on your bike, or a small little invention that just made your life a bit easier, it shouldn't have to be the most pretty of things, but it works. Let me know down in the comments below, and maybe if you can, get me on Instagram and send me a photo of it. I'm always interested to see what guys do on their bikes, and if they make a plan that, well, just works. I call it little nuggets because it's not the nicest looking of things, but they work. So I'm quickly going to put in the front derailleur cable. I'm going to set up the gears. I'm going to grab my pedals from my mountain bike, and we'll put it on here, and we'll see how the bike looks afterwards, and I must say this bike is starting to look very, very nice. I'm enjoying this thing and I'm enjoying working on it. Now it's just to get my fat bum on it and ride it. But anyway, let me do that quickly and then we'll chat a bit again. Now I've shown you guys this bike so many times, and yes, we've had ups and downs with this thing and building and then the stripping of all the spares again and the building again. Now unfortunately this is not a sub 7 kilogram bike. It's not. I'm sad to say I don't think it's going to be a sub 7.5 kilogram bike. But it is an aluminium bike. It's got aluminium clincher wheels on it, which is not the lightest. It's got aluminium handlebars, aluminium bar stem. It doesn't even have a carbon crank on it. So there's so many things that you really can make a bit lighter if you really want to. But I think budget build, and for all the components that we could source, it turned out quite good. So I'm going to weigh the bike now, and then we'll see what the weight is. And then I'm going to do some motivation, and we are going to end Vlogmas Day number 17. Now this is with everything on it. We've got bottles, bottle cages, everything. I know some people weigh their bikes and then they're like, oh, I've got this and this, but it doesn't have bottle cages or pedals on there or anything. So this is pedals, everything included, my Garmin, my Wahoo. So this is basically take the bike and go ride without your bottles. Now it's not super light, but it's lighter than I thought it would be. And the S Works Allez mechanical Dura Ace, aluminium rotor crank, aluminium clincher wheels, aluminium bar and stem. We are weighing in at 7.25 kilograms. That's insane. That's really, it's lighter than I thought. So I'm happy, I'm satisfied, and like I said, for what we spent and what we got, it's not the prettiest of wheels and so on because they are damaged quite a lot, but it's not bad for an aluminium bike. Guys, let me know what your bikes weigh. Let me know if you guys have had bike builds that you did, and if you're a weight weenie like me and you've tried a few things to save weight and where you've saved some weight on your bike. Let me know down in the comments below. I'm really anxious to see what you guys have done and the weights that you get your bikes to. And but I'm happy. I'm super stoked on this bike, and let's do some motivation. I've actually been sitting here for like 40 minutes or something, and I have this great motivation I wanted to share with you guys today. And after fixing the bicycle on my bike and seeing the weights on it, I felt so good, and then life happened. The normal nonsense of everyday life happened. All the issues we've got from this year, all the things that's going on in this year, and just all the nonsense that happened because of this year. If you weren't one of the ones impacted by this year or had an impact on your life because of this year, you are super blessed. You're one of the lucky ones. But then there's a lot of us that really, we felt this year. And my motivation for today was basically short and the long of it, the more you put into life, the more you can get out of it. And it's not always that way. I think at the end of the day, no matter what life throws your way, it's going to be the way that you handle that, and that the way that we handle the nonsense and I'm going to say the shitty situation we are in. I think it's the way we're going to handle it that will make or break us, or that will make us look back at the end of the year and say it wasn't that bad. This was a rough year, guys. And we're pushing the daily vlogs, and we're pushing Vlogmas, and we're getting closer and closer to the end of this year. And a lot of us are saying, no, next year will be the year, if we can just get to next year. But what if the things of next year don't change? What if next year stays the same, or we get another hard lockdown, or something like that happens again? And no one knows that answer, and none of us knows what can and might happen next year. I think the only thing we can do is to stand together, pray, keep faith, and just try to handle the things not too bad, or not too. Yeah, I think. Let me motivate you guys this way. The more we put into something, yes, the more we can get out of it. But life can also happen, and then we can lose everything that we've put in. Never let that stop you. Always seek for another opportunity, seek for another step in life so that you can get onto that step. Don't rely on one thing alone. Make sure there's multiple platforms that you can always rely on, and something that you can fall back onto. So guys, be strong, stay safe. And this might not be the best motivation, but tomorrow we'll get it again. Enjoy.